Hey everybody, BamaCooley here. I'm standing next to the top of the line when it comes to off-road vehicles for Toyota. This is the Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. It is Toyota's answer to the Tremor and to the ZR2 Bison. Let's take a look at it. Let's see what it's like. Let's drive it and let's see how it stacks up. Come on, let's go. Starting with the front, I know this is controversial. Some of the Toyota purists don't like this, but the front end has changed. I think it's a good look. This is obviously a white color, which everybody knows I'm not particularly fond of white truck, but if you're going to do it in black so you get that nice stormtrooper look and it doesn't look as plain. I definitely don't like the white and chrome look. So, of course, here you got Toyota written across here. You have Tundra stamped into the bumper here, and everything is blacked out. You got your marker lights here, you got your trail lights here, and inside these marker lights it actually says TRD. Coming down here, of course, you have at the bottom you have your skid plate, which is added for the off-road performance. This is an off-road machine, however you can drive it in the city. So coming across here, of course, you have some venting here for that iForce Max engine. You have your LED lamps here, which I think look pretty good. So on top you do have vent covers, but they aren't functional. And I don't know why manufacturers will put vents on a hood when they're not functional. Just go ahead and make them functional. To me, it's just a lot better, removes heat from the engine, and it's just better overall. But you see the sharp lines coming down here. Of course, you got a sharp line coming down here. I think a scoop right here would look pretty good and make it functional. I think they kind of missed the boat on that. But overall, I think it looks like a pretty good truck. It's big, it's wide. Of course, coming over here to the side, of course, here you see TRD Pro right here on the vent. And of course, you see the kind of blacked out, what looks to be blacked out from your distance, wheel well covers, fender covers. However, it is camo, just like on the front, just like here, and just like the seats inside, which is a pattern you will see. It does have a cool looking camo cover. Here you got 33-inch tall Falcons sitting on 18-inch wheels with the TRD in red here. I think these are good looking rims. I like the TRD in the red. It just really pops to me. Behind these wheels, you have Fox Cold Spring Shock, which is the off-road package for the TRD. You can pick this up in the B-roll footage, but these are red, has TRD written over here, and you can see the red coil springs. So it's an upgraded suspension. This truck also has a ground clearance of 10.9 inches for trails where you might have some rocks and everything. And of course, I can't get a good picture of it. Well, maybe I can. But the skid plate underneath is obviously steel, and it has TRD in red written over it. Coming down the rest of the side, of course, you got the blacked out rear view mirrors here. Of course, you got the black door handles. You got the step boards right here that have TRD written. Coming down, of course, you got more of that black camo, which I think looks pretty good. And then, of course, here you got your 33-inch BBS forged wheels, 18 inches, 33-inch tire Falcons. And let's look at the shock system again. Of course, back here you got the Fox Cold Spring Shock system. You got a multi-link suspension for the off-road stuff. So how does it stack up with a Ford Tremor or a Raptor or a Chevy Bison? We will see how it feels when we get in and drive it. But I do like the orange and the red, and I think it makes it pop, especially with the white and the black. So we'll give it a run and see how she does. Coming around towards the back, of course, you have the dual exhaust tips here. Now, I know Toyota pops in sound into the cabin, but it still sounds really good for a hybrid. I'm not gonna lie. Giving it the gas on the way over here, it still sounds really good. And you can upgrade this. You can put some catbacks on it. You can put another exhaust system on it if you really want it to pop even more. Coming to the back, of course, you got Toyota in black written across here. Got some marker lights here. You have that black camo pattern going across here. We got TRD Pro stamped in the back. It doesn't say Tundra like the rest of the Tundras do. It's actually TRD Pro. So you know you're in the top of the line of the Tundras. Also coming down here to the bumper, of course, you got the black with the camo. Got your trailer hitch here. Overall, pretty decent looking tailgate. There's your camera system here, or there's your camera here, light here. So pretty standard stuff when it comes to the trucks. So here is the key fob. Of course, you got Toyota right here. You got lock, unlock, hold, open your tailgate. I personally think they should put TRD Pro back here on this. I think it would be a good look. Put it in red. It's everywhere else, as you'll see once we get into the interior. So we will hold this down. There's your automatic tailgate. Of course, you got Tundra written right here. This does have the bed liner in it. You see Tundra right there. Of course, you got your LED lights here. You got your 120 volt, 400 watt power outlet here. And of course, you got your various hooks and everything else you need. This is not an automatic tailgate going up like you would see in a Raptor or some of the other trucks. But that being said, it is super, super light. Coming to the back, we're finally getting to the inside. Of course, this does have the JBL system, stereo system and speaker system. As far as the materials, it's pretty plasticky. You do have some softer top right here with some red stitching going here. Got a little bit of a pattern going here, but it's typical for most full-size trucks. You'd probably want a little bit more, especially at this price range. The seats themselves, which I'll show you later, have that camo pattern. They're very comfortable. You do have all-weather floor mats here. You do have red stitching going around the front seats. Of course, you got storage here. Sitting in the back, this is about where I would have the seat if I was driving, and I got plenty of room. I got probably about 5 or 6 inches of knee room. You do have 2 cup holders back here. You got your vents. You have your USBs. You also got a 120 volt battery here. You don't have, you know, climate control or heated seats back here. And you do have a cup holder armrest here, so you can put 2 drinks here, 2 drinks here, maybe some Crystal burgers here. But overall, it's a pretty standard seat. And of course, this is the full panoramic sunroof that you see up here, so you do get some sunroof action here. So overall, pretty roomy. I could take a long road trip sitting back here. All right, sitting in the front, of course, you got your window controls here for all 4 windows, window lock here for the back windows, door lock. You got 2 settings on the memory seats. You got your speaker. You got more storage for drinks. Coming up here, this is nicer than the back seat. You got a soft pad right here with red stitching. Coming in here, which I'll show you later in a little bit. Of course, you got your weather matting. You got your performance pedals, which I do like. I think it's a good touch. One thing I did notice is that this is a manual adjusting steering wheel. It's not a power adjustment on steering wheel, which for the amount of money you pay for this, I would expect it to be a power adjusting steering wheel. So I think that's a knock on Toyota. Here you got all your light switches. Of course, you got your TRD light bar, your heated steering wheel, AC 120 volts, trip meter, gas unlock, stuff like that. So let's go ahead and crawl on in and see the rest of it. Being on the inside, you can see me a little bit more, which I don't know if y'all like the point of view better, whatnot, but here's the huge screen. So it is very responsive. You got your settings. You can go through and set everything up from display, Wi-Fi, general. Vehicle settings is just trip information and vehicle alerts. Set up your iPhone or Android. Subscribe, you know, you got your Sirius, Amazon Music. Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty standard, but it is a very responsive screen, and it's absolutely massive. You got another USB right here. Of course, coming over, you got your glove box here, which is pretty good storage. And I do think this is a good touch. You do have Toyota right there, which I think is a very good look. I like it myself. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good looking interior. There's you know, it's like with all trucks, right? There's always certain little things that can be improved, and this is no different. All right, everyone, we'll do a little point of view action here. Of course, as I was pointing out earlier, there you see all your light controls and different things. Coming over here, you see the camo patterned seats. These are heated and cooled, so that's a nice touch. Coming up here, there you have it, the TRD Pro badge. Okay, coming to the steering wheel, here you got TRD Pro, TRD badge right here. Leather wrapped heated steering wheel with the orange marker up here. It's a thicker steering wheel, which I like. It looks really good. I think they should have blacked this out, had this gloss black instead of, or even matte black, instead of the chrome. Coming over here, of course, you got your volume controls. You got your controls for the gauge cluster. Over here, you got your lane keep assist, your cruise control, your light stock, windshield wiper. Coming over here, of course, this does have plenty of storage. You got this storage right here. You got this storage down there. This opens up and you got all kinds of storage. You got 2 USBs right there. You got change. You got put a little storage there. Put your phone or whatever there. Of course, this does have a wireless phone charger right there, which is nice. Here you have your drive modes. You also got your, if you want to do some rock crawling, you got your tow haul mode. Here you got your 2 high, 4 low. It doesn't have a 4 automatic, which they should add. Here's your gear shifter. Of course, it's leather wrapped and stitched. It has TRD right here with a red stripe here. There's your parking brake. Coming over here, you do have your wireless phone charger and more storage. There's your rear rear locker right there. Traction control. There you got backup trailer assist. Here's your trailer brake. There's your startup. And of course, looking overall, you see this massive 14-inch screen right here, which is very responsive. And of course, this does have buttons and knobs for your radio and heated and ventilated seats, as well as your AC and everything like that. So let's go ahead and crank this up, because it's hotter than 4 hells in here. There you see the Tundra iForce Max. There is not a very good startup mode that I can find in this, and maybe I'm just missing it, but the fact of the matter is I like to hear that rumble, and since this is a hybrid, it kicks off with the battery most of the time. So of course, there you see the full digital display, and of course this changes as you change the drive modes. There you see what's affected. You got sport, you got normal, you got eco. We always keep it in sport. I think everybody's used to that. And of course, you know, there you got your miles per hour, you got your gauge, you see sport right there, your RPMs, you got your iForce Max with your twin turbo 3.4 liter V6. So you got your boost meter there, and of course there's your max of the power output. So it's a pretty good looking actual display. Up here at the top, you got more speakers. You got another power outlet right here. Got more storage. There's the infotainment center right there. Okay, one of the things I did want to show y'all, this does have a camera rear view mirror, which I think all trucks this size and at this price range should have. Ford should have it on the Raptor. Chevy should have it on, which I think they might, on the Z72, but all trucks of this class and this trim level should have this. I know Dodge has it on the TRX, and I'm sure they'll have it on the RHO, so that's pretty sharp. As you can see, full panoramic sunroof. And this is one thing that Toyota does, and it's really specific to Toyota, is they have a fully functional full window. So it's not just a little sliding glass, it is a fully functional full window that goes down, which I think is really awesome. And we'll go ahead and put it back up. All right, everybody, here's the heart of the beast. The iForce Max engine, twin turbo V6 with the hybrid motor for a total combined output of 437 horsepower and 583 pound-feet of torque. This thing is very torquey. So usually the Ford F-150s with the EcoBoost hits maximum torque around between 3,000 3,400 RPMs. This hits max torque at 2,400 RPM. So it's very low torquey. You feel it initially, and it feels quicker than what it is. 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds. Tops out at 107, which is a limiter, electronically controlled. It'll also do the quarter mile, I think in like maybe 14 at around 90 something miles an hour. So on the top end, it slows down a pretty good bit, but the initial punch that it gives is actually pretty damn fun. And it feels quicker than what it is. This is almost a 6,200 pound vehicle. 5.7 in the 60 is not bad at all. And it's definitely pretty fun to drive. If you want more power, I think there might be a Toyota performance package you can get where they'll update the air intakes, make them better. They'll also put a catback exhaust on that might add some more horsepower. I don't know if you can do that with the iForce Max, but I know they do offer it with some of the other engines that maybe aren't the hybrid, then they might be able to do it on this. But this is the package right here. As far as towing, I think you can tow around maybe 10, 11,000 pounds with about a 1,600 pound payload. And those numbers might be a little bit lower because you do have the off-road suspension, and that's one of the things you give up when you put a very good off-road suspension on a vehicle. That's why I like the Bison and the Raptors and everything. They always tend to tow less, and they always tend to have a lower payload than what your typical trucks would. And it's not because of power, it's not because of engine, it's all to do with that suspension. All right, everybody, we reviewed the outside and the inside of the TRD Pro. Now we're going to take it for a drive and see what we think about it. Maybe give it the business a little bit, but not too much. It's still a new vehicle. So we'll go ahead and take care of that. Sitting in the seats, they're very comfortable. The first thing I noticed, because I am in Alabama and it's hotter than 4 Hades here, is that the ventilated seats are very good. I got them cranked up. They're very good, so we should be good to go. I'm going to go ahead and put this in sport because if you're not new to the channel, you know that's always how I do things. I drive things in sport. That's just what I do because I want to make sure I get the maximum performance when I'm test driving it to see how it actually really is. The noise you hear, and I hope you pick it up, is the popped in noise that makes it sound like a V8. This is not a V8. Even though I know that it's magnified and popped in, I think it sounds really good. It is a dual exhaust out to the driver's side and the rear. Like I said, this feels, it sounds really good. I'm not gonna lie, I love the way it sounds. So one thing about this engine is, of course, it's 437 horsepower, 583 pound-feet of torque, but the torque is low. Like you hit that torque at 2,400 RPMs, which is, we can go over I think the gas mileage on this might be 20 or 21 on the highway, 18 in the city, 19 in the city, 20 overall is the gas mileage on this. But make no mistake, even though this is a hybrid, to hell with efficiency. This is not a hybrid for efficiency, in my opinion. This is a hybrid to fill in the gaps on that turbo lag, because everybody loves the turbos. Well, most everybody. But the one problem is when you accelerate and you give it the gas, there's a split-second turbo lag. You have to wait for the turbos to spool up. What this hybrid does is it fills in those gaps, especially on the low end, so you don't have to wait for the turbos to spool up. The battery will kick in the power initially and go ahead and push you in the back of your seat, and you get that instantaneous torque. I think from that standpoint, Toyota has done a really good job with it. I haven't driven the F-150 Power Boost yet, and I know it's got like, you know, 400 and something horsepower and 540 pound-feet of torque, so it's similar numbers, not too far off. But I haven't driven it yet to see if it fills in that torque, fills in that gap, that turbo lag gap like this does. But the Toyota engineers did a really good job of making sure those gaps are filled on this. I want to take y'all a little bit around Research Park here in Huntsville for some stop and go driving. And once you stop, it's quiet. Once I give the gas, of course, you hear that wishing it was a V8 sound. So, and then we're going to get on the highway before we head back to the dealership. The TRD Pro comes pretty loaded. Digital everything, rear locker, you got your tow brakes. I mean, everything on here is pretty much top of the line. I think there are a few options. This one has the bed liner in it. It also has the side steps, which is an option, but it has TRD on them. And I'm sure there's some other options you can put in here, but I don't think it's really that much. So the MSRP for this particular one right here is about 77 grand. So yes, I know it's expensive. Everybody knows it's expensive. Everything's expensive. So for that price, it puts it maybe about 5 or 6 grand less than a 35 package Raptor, and maybe about 5 grand more, 5 or 6 grand more than a like a Trimmer Lariat, maybe a couple grand more than a Trimmer Lariat edition. I don't want to say this competes with the Raptor, though it kind of does, but to me it kind of also competes with the Trimmer and the Bison. As far as horsepower and torque numbers, it definitely beats the Bison, and it also beats the Trimmer. One knock on this, it's a couple knocks, and they're minor, relatively speaking. But for 77 grand, give me a power steering wheel. That's a definite. And black out this Toyota badge on the steering wheel. You got TRD down here on the badge anyway. Go ahead and black it out, or go ahead and black out the Toyota emblem. So acceleration, like I said, this thing is awesome. That torque hits, and you see the turbo spool up, and that battery kicks in, and you're off to the races. I wish the steering wheel was just a tad bit tighter for my liking. To me, there's still a lot of play in it, even in the sport mode. So I wish they would have tightened that up. As far as the shocks, you know, they're not the live valve shocks like on the Raptor. I think they're Fox shocks, so they're great shocks, and it's a great suspension. But you pick up a little bit more on the road, and I'm sure part of that has to do with that I'm in sport mode, so it's going to be a little bit more than normal. But it seems like it doesn't want to float over stuff quite as much. So we're gonna get on the interstate here and get it up to speed and see what the road noise is like on it. Man, that exhaust note does, I don't care if it's fake or not, it does sound good. So these do have the 18-inch wheels and the 33-inch Falcons. It's a little bit of road noise, but it's a big truck, so I mean, it's almost a 6,200 pound truck, so I don't, you know, and there's some wind noise as well, but you know, I got the cover on the sunroof open, so it might be part of it because of that, and it probably would muffle it more, but because of the GoPro I need to keep it on. But this overall, I mean, it's a good driving truck. I'm going to go up here, turn around, and get it into an area where I can really accelerate on it. Not over accelerate, but kind of accelerate so I can really feel that torque come up. So, you know, like I said, MSRP $77,000. TRD Pros are hard to get, so they are kind of exclusive, because as soon as one or two get on the lots, they tend to sell just like that. And Toyota, you know, percentage-wise doesn't make that many of them. It's all in the eye of the beholder. My job here is not to tell you exactly what I prefer, but it's to present to you all the facts and let y'all make y'all's own decision. Come down and test drive one, you know, see how you like it compared to an F-150 or Z71 or ZR2. I do want to give a special shout out to my friends at Bill Penny Toyota for giving me time with this. They didn't have to. I know this is a TRD Pro and a lot of people are kind of protective of them, but they did, and I really appreciate it. So if you're interested in a Toyota and you're in the Huntsville area, or even if you're not, look my friends up online at Bill Penny Toyota. I'll put the link in their website, and if this truck's still available when this video airs, I'll put a link to this truck, but I don't think it will be because these things tend to go pretty quick. This does have the black interior. I'd honestly would like to see this with the red interior. I think that would be pretty sharp. So you'd have the white, all the black everywhere, and then you'd have the red with the camo pattern. I think the red interior would be pretty sharp. So I'm doing 73. Okay, now I know what was wrong. One of the windows was down. Now let's really evaluate the road noise. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's a truck. I do like that low rumble note though. So I'm doing 71 right now, just cruising along. It is windy today, so you do feel the wind, especially in a big truck as it's pushing you, and then you can hear it as well. Uh-oh. No, but this is a great driving truck. And a lot of the full-size trucks, like I thought the Bison, the Chevy Bison was a good driving truck. Of course, everybody knows how I feel about the F-150s. And this is in the same line, right? It's their full size. This is just the more off-road version. You know, unfortunately, I can't take this off-road into some of the areas that would be pretty cool. So I can't give you a full driving comparison of what it's like off-road versus a Raptor or a Bison. Hopefully one day I'll be able to compare all three relatively at the same time, and maybe even do some off-roading with them, and then I can really let you know what they can and can't do. My gut is that each truck has its own strengths and weaknesses, and you have to decide which, you know, you got Toyota fanboys, you got Ford fanboys, you got Chevy fanboys, and they're going to stick with their brands regardless of whether a particular truck meets their criteria more than another one. All right, so we're going to give it the business here. I want to feel that torque. Yeah, she's quick. It's a 6,200 pound truck, and I could definitely see how you could get the 0 to 60 in 5.7. So she likes to move, she hauls. 10's, I guess part of the thing, the low end torque is, I think at the top end it probably taps out a little bit. That's why the quarter mile is slower than you would think it would be for a 5.7. But you know, the top speed is 107, and that's, you know, governor limited. So I hope y'all were able to kind of hear it and feel it as I was flooring it there, so you could kind of pick up on that torque. It's 583 pound-feet of torque, so she is torquey. But for 77 grand, you know, come down and test drive one, see what you think. See what you think of the iForce Max engine. I think it's a good engine. I know some people might be afraid of some of the recalls Toyota did. I don't know all the details of it, and there are people that just, right, wrong, or indifferent, don't trust hybrids, and there's still people that don't trust turbos. But, you know, they want to go for the naturally aspirated V6 or naturally aspirated V8, even though the turbos will provide more performance, more horsepower, and more torque. All right, we're going to head back. We're going to do the closing, head back to the dealership. See y'all in a minute. There you have it, everyone, the 2024 Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. We looked at the outside, we looked at the inside, we drove it. It is a nice full-size truck with off-road capabilities, and it's in the class of the Tremor Raptors and the Z71s and ZR2 Bison. Special shout out to my friends at Bill Penny Toyota for giving me time with this truck today. I'll put the website down at the bottom in the description, and a link to this truck if it's still available. Also, be sure to comment below and let me know what you think about the Tundra with the iForce Max engine. If you're a Tundra owner, comment below. Let me know what you think. Also, be sure to check out the videos to my left, and remember, if you catch yourself in the back roads of Tijuana and you got a fun car or truck to drive and there are no federales around like there were today, go ahead and give it the business and have a good time with it. We'll see y'all later.